Summary of Thinking, Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Daniel Kahneman's Thinking, Fast and Slow is a groundbreaking exploration of how the human mind works, focusing on the two systems that drive our thinking processes. These systems, System 1 and System 2, play crucial roles in shaping our decisions, judgments, and behavior. By understanding these systems, Kahneman reveals how we can become more aware of cognitive biases and improve our decision-making. The two systems of thinking. System 1, Fast and Intuitive Thinking. System 1 operates automatically and quickly, with little or no effort. It relies on intuition, instincts, and emotions to make judgments. Examples: detecting anger in someone's voice, solving 2 + 2 = or recognizing a familiar face. While it's efficient for routine tasks and quick decisions, it often leads to errors because it relies on shortcuts, heuristics, and is prone to biases. System 2, Slow and Deliberative Thinking. System 2 is analytical, logical, and requires conscious effort. It's responsible for solving complex problems, analyzing data, and making thoughtful decisions. Examples: multiplying 17 times 24, evaluating a business proposal, or comparing mortgage rates. System 2 is more accurate but slower, requiring mental energy and focus. Key takeaway: most of our daily decisions are made by System 1, often without our awareness. However, for critical decisions, we need to engage System 2 to avoid errors. Cognitive biases and heuristics. Kahneman identifies several biases and heuristics that arise from System 1's quick judgments. These include: anchoring bias, relying too heavily on the first piece of information we encounter, the anchor when making decisions. Example: if someone mentions 1,000 before a negotiation, you might base your counteroffer around that number, even if it's irrelevant. Availability heuristic, judging the likelihood of events based on how easily examples come to mind. Example: after watching news reports of plane crashes, you may believe air travel is riskier than it actually is. Loss aversion, the tendency to fear losses more than we value equivalent gains. Example: losing 50 feels worse than gaining 50 feels good. Overconfidence bias, overestimating the accuracy of our beliefs or abilities. Example: investors often think they can predict market trends but frequently fail. Framing effect, making different decisions based on how information is presented. Example: a surgery with a 90% survival rate feels safer than one with a 10% mortality rate, even though they're identical. The prospect theory. One of the book's most influential concepts is prospect theory, for which Kahneman won the Nobel Prize. It explains how people evaluate potential losses and gains differently. People tend to avoid risks when a decision involves potential gains, risk-averse behavior. However, they are more likely to take risks when trying to avoid losses, risk-seeking behavior. Example: if given a choice between a guaranteed 900 or a 90% chance to win 1,000, most people choose the guaranteed 900, risk-averse. But when faced with a sure loss of 900 versus a 90% chance to lose 1,000, most people gamble on the latter, risk-seeking. Key takeaway: humans are not always rational decision makers. Our preferences are influenced by how choices are framed and our natural aversion to losses. The illusion of understanding and the planning fallacy. Kahneman explains how overconfidence in our knowledge often leads to the illusion of understanding, the belief that we know more than we actually do. Similarly, the planning fallacy occurs when we underestimate the time, costs, and risks of future actions while overestimating the benefits. Example: construction projects often take longer and cost more than initially planned because planners ignore potential setbacks. The role of emotions and memory. Kahneman discusses how emotions and memory affect our decision-making. He introduces the concept of the experiencing self, the self that lives in the present, and the remembering self, the self that recalls past experiences. The remembering self often dominates our decisions, leading us to prioritize memories of experiences over the actual experiences themselves. Example: a vacation filled with minor inconveniences but ending on a high note will likely be remembered fondly. Practical implications: avoid overconfidence, recognize that your intuition system 1 might be wrong. Engage system 2 for important decisions. Question anchors: be aware of how initial information influences your choices. Reframe decisions: look at problems from multiple perspectives to avoid being swayed by framing effects. Prepare for biases: acknowledge that biases like loss aversion or overconfidence may cloud your judgment. The bigger picture. Kahneman's work challenges the belief that humans are rational decision makers. Instead, he reveals how deeply irrational and biased our thinking can be. However, by understanding the mechanics of our minds, we can mitigate errors, improve our decision-making, and lead more intentional lives.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed, make sure to like our video and subscribe to Just Listeners for more amazing audio content. Stay tuned for more captivating tales and melodies.